Hey there, fellow media artists. Andy here from Vader Video, and I want to talk a little bit about this cloud thing from Adobe. It's called Adobe Creative Cloud. But before I get into that, and before I get into talking a little bit about the transition into it, I wanted to bring up just a couple of little points that kind of annoyed me. You know, these companies, they produce products and we use them. We artists use them and we create and do all kinds of wonderful things with them. But just a couple days ago, this little, I don't know how big they are, fstoppers.com posted that, wow, Photoshop CC has been hacked and cracked. Like, that's news. Like, what was that based on and why was that so important? And the day after that, they announce, oh, well, here's reasons why you shouldn't pirate tools like that, like Photoshop. And I just found it kind of silly. But what I did see is that announcements and news articles like that tend to spur on people's commentary and ludicrous information and misinformation and philosophies and ideas that don't make any sense. And a couple of things that I saw were people still truly believe that, you know, certain things are the way they are with this new Creative Cloud. And what I want to do right now is just get rid of some of these misinformation and misnomers and all this garbage news and noise that's traveling through Twitter and Facebook and then of course all the blogs and all the response areas on places like F-Stoppers. Now, I'm not picking on F-Stoppers because usually they post some pretty cool stuff and some pretty informative stuff, but this was just totally ludicrous. And what were they trying to prove? I don't know. But the whole point was, oh, here's Adobe with their new CC, and the misnomer was they did this so that people couldn't pirate the software anymore. No, I don't think that's why Adobe did the Creative Cloud thing. I think there was many other reasons. And as time goes, it'll probably make more sense and it'll be more understood. One of the main things that Adobe failed when they decided to roll out Creative Cloud was they did it over a longer period, but they really made the official announcement about a month ago in LA at the Max convention. And, they had a long presentation and you can watch it online. And they assumed that everybody was going to watch this online. Problem is not everybody has an hour to just spend and watch the CEO of Adobe talk about these features and various people. And yeah, it was cool, and I did watch it. And, I was skeptical at first, too. As a matter of fact, I even wrote some blogs about it, and I even ran into some issues. But this is what typically happens when a company gets overloaded because they have something new that's probably pretty cool. So let's get rid of some of the misnomers right off the bat. Number one, the Creative Cloud doesn't mean you're actually cloud computing per se. It's not like an SaaS product like, let's say, Salesforce or even like Gmail or any of the Google products. Facebook is an SaaS product. It's basically where you're working on the internet and everything is stored on the internet and your applications are in some cases free, but in other cases rented by the seat. In other words, you pay a per seat usage right, just like this new Adobe Cloud thing. So the Creative Cloud is basically you're renting a software product from Adobe and instead of buying it outright. And that's one of the big issues, and people are actually upset about that. And I thought about this and I analyzed it up and down, and I used to buy, or always did, even up to CS6, I bought legit licenses. And I was used to that model too, but even when I bought those licenses, I still had to go to Adobe and download all the applications for my production premium suite that I always relicensed since CS4. So, what's the difference? Well, the difference is instead of me paying $600, $700, $800 a year to get the updates to go from like CS5 to CS6 or CS5.5 to CS6 or whatever the upgrade pattern was. And every year I did that. I now just pay $20 a month and I get a lot more. I get everything that Adobe has, not just the production premium suite. And that's what I think is really cool, because there were a lot of apps that I would have loved to use many times but couldn't because I didn't have a legit license. And I am really adamant and really hard-headed about always having legitimate licenses for all the products. I've had people offer, hey, I can get you a copy. No, I don't want it. Hey, I can get, no, don't want it, because chances are there's a virus, there's a Trojan, it's not fully functional, you can't get updates. Why waste my time? If my computer is down because of a Trojan or a virus for even just one day, it costs me more than what an upgrade would cost. So it doesn't make any sense. And that's the way you really should look at it too. The other upside to actually renting the software is well, let's not call it an upside, let's call it an even playing field, or it's equal to what you had before, because even when you bought the product, you never really owned it. All you bought was the right to use it. So what's the difference if I'm paying $20 a month or $600-700 and amortize that over a year? That's more than $20 a month. So I'm actually coming out ahead. Plus, like I said, I get more applications. All this bogus information that's out there is absolutely useless. Now, we also hear a lot about the person that has the individual product, Photoshop only users. And they're complaining because, yeah, this might cost a little more because, they get in, I think it's $30 or $50 a month, whatever the deal, even if it's $50 a month. To rent a product like Photoshop, hey man, if you can't afford that, then A, either you shouldn't be in business, or B, don't go to bars. Don't drink too much. I mean, come on. I could spend easily $50 in a bar, for me and my wife, and it just wouldn't make any sense. I'd rather spend it on tools and get creative and have a good time being creative. So, if you're looking at it, oh, it's going to be, Adobe's ripping it. No, they're not. They are trying to come out with a kind of a neutral playing field. And the other thing that you want to think about is, if you're only using Photoshop, what other possibilities could there be? I mean, you might want to expand your horizon, become a little more creative. Maybe use products like Adobe Illustrator or Fireworks. Diversify a little bit. And that's the cool thing with all these tools. If you start getting into them, you'll start finding out that some of this stuff is really cool to work with. So, if you're just a hardcore Photoshop person, there's a lot more to the world than just Photoshop, particularly from Adobe. And I encourage people, hey man, get into some of this other stuff. Get more creative, diversify, have a good time. The third and most important misnomer or misunderstanding is that, oh, you got to be connected 24/7, 365 to Adobe in order to use their applications. Totally incorrect. Totally incorrect. All you need to do is ping their Creative Cloud once in a while, and all that does is kind of verify that your licenses are legit because you're paying your monthly, okay? And you can go if you're on a month-to-month, I think you got to touch in every 30 days. If you're on an annual contract, you can wait for 99 days. But I'm going to tell you, you'll never take that time to wait. You will always connect because there's always cool updates and there's always new stuff coming. So you open up your Adobe Applications Manager, the new version for Creative Cloud, you go and see, and you'll see it automatically tells you, hey, this has got some updates. Here's a new version of this, and here's this. And this all just happened in the last couple of days. It was really cool. And they still have full-blown CS6. So you can still get the true CS6 versions of all these apps, plus the new versions, the CC versions, the Creative Cloud. Why do I know this? Because I am doing it. I just did it in the last couple of days. And one of the things that I wanted to do was see, were there any pitfalls to these upgrades? Because the CC versions were just updated 2 days ago. They were just released 2 days ago. And then 2 days after that, there was a couple updates already. But what's really cool is all my plugins, and I have a lot of them. I've got Red Giant, Video Copilot, Revision, Boris FX, and God knows, Topaz Labs for Photoshops, all kinds of stuff. And you know what? All those plugins transferred over without a problem. All the companies that are creating plugins are actually doing their best to stay on top of all this. I mean, it's to their best interest anyways. So there's absolutely no issues with transitioning. The download process is pretty much the same. It downloads it from the cloud, installs it, and then as the last misnomer, saying that you have to save everything to the cloud, no, that is totally incorrect, and that would make no sense, because think about it. If you are producing something in Premiere Pro where the files are gargantuan, you can't hit save and sit there for 2 hours waiting for it to upload every time. That'd be ludicrous. So that's totally wrong. You have the option to put stuff in the cloud for backup storage. You have the option to go into the cloud to use Behance to share projects or ideas. You can do collaborative work with other people, let's say your clients, or you want to show something to a person you're doing some co-editing with, whatever have you. So all this stuff about having to put stuff in the cloud, no, that's totally optional. The applications function exactly the same way. You can do a save and save as and save it to your local platter. So listen up, people. All this noise has got to go away. I mean, I was skeptical at the same, when I first heard the announcement at NAB this year, I was going like, wow, so what's the upgrade? And I'm going to pay for the rest of my life. And then I thought about it and analyzed the figures and came to the conclusion, first of all, I no longer have to depreciate an asset, which was what the software products were. I now can basically write everything off as an expense. It's a monthly expense, just like any other, like telephone or whatever have you. And it really isn't bad. And for people that are upgrading from CS6, the good news is you get a super Ganga deal. You get the same price as the educational, which is $20 a month plus tax, $19.99 plus tax. But, it's all a mood issue. It's great. Everything works. I've tested everything. I've got it on my systems. You're allowed to go up to 2 systems simultaneously, which is really cool because now I get my laptop and on my fixed editing bay. So, I have not found any downsides to it yet. But as you saw, this is kind of a secondary series I'm doing. Notes from the cloud. But notes from the cloud? Okay. So anyways, look, stay tuned. If there's any other cool stuff, I do have a couple of other videos that are going to be coming along with this. Some dirty tricks about how to organize things a little bit better on your desktop in your menu structure and stuff to get those applications all nice and neatly put away. But you know what? Don't read all the banter. Don't buy into all the stuff. Check it out for yourself. Adobe has now put up a decent FAQ, frequently asked questions page about exactly what I just talked about. So you can go verify it and, be cool about this. I mean, it's well worth getting all this stuff and doing it legit. So stay tuned. There's more stuff coming. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. And hey, follow me on Twitter and Facebook too. You'll constantly find new posts and a couple of cross links to a couple of my different blogs and sites. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.